Hello there and welcome to this presentation all about home learning at King Arthur's School. This is a voiced over PowerPoint version of the parent forum that we held, and thank you to those of you that were able to attend. This will cover the same information if you wanted to go back over anything. And for those of you that were unable to make it to our parent forum, this is to clarify home learning and how it is changing for this year. If at the end of this presentation you still have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact us. We are very keen to hear your thoughts and answer any queries that you have. And the way I started this presentation at the Parent Forum was to acknowledge that actually lots of our students don't really value home learning and actually almost feel sometimes that it is not really fair that they have to complete their home learning. Lots of parents were in agreement at that and said yes, sometimes their students feel like that time should be protected and family time. But it is really, really important actually that students understand just how much of a difference completing home learning regularly can make to their overall progress. And this is from the EEF Toolkit, the Education Endowment Foundation, who have done extensive research into the impact of home learning and have found that actually it can make up to 5 months worth of progress for children, which is an incredible amount of progress and one of the biggest factors that can make a difference to how well students do overall. So please do recognise that the home learning that we're setting is all about making sure that students are able to build on and consolidate the learning that is going on inside school and help them to be successful overall. To that end then, our policy is that home learning shouldn't be something facile, it shouldn't be something that is there for the sake of it. It absolutely needs to be meaningful, so it needs to be related to the student's curriculum. It needs to be manageable. We recognise that students only have so much time at home and that they need to be able to access it. They don't necessarily have expert knowledge or resources and things at home, so they need to be able to do it. And what we've realised is that consistency is really crucial for students in understanding how to complete home learning and making sure that they know exactly what to do, how often to expect it, how much time to spend. We don't want students poring over it for 3 hours, one piece of homework for 3 hours. So we're trying to, everything about our new policy this year is trying to streamline things so that it's really clear to students and to parents exactly what needs to be completed and how. Your student will have come home this year with a home learning book, and that is part of that process. So it's pictured on the screen here, and I'm sure your children have already shown that to you. This is about collating all of the home learning in one place so that we don't have lots of books going home, getting lost or getting damaged and things, that the home learning book is all centralised, and so parents know exactly what to ask to see from their children. Children know exactly where to complete the homework and how. So what will it look like? On the screen here are a selection of what we call knowledge organisers. If you're not involved in education, that might be a new phrase for you. But knowledge organisers have actually been part and parcel of education for quite some time now. The idea behind a knowledge organiser is that it holds the key, fundamental, crucial bedrock information in it that all students need to be successful on a particular topic. Now, obviously, it can't hold every piece of information, otherwise it would just be unmanageable. So the idea is that if all students master the knowledge and commit this knowledge to memory, that they have solid foundations to build upon to be able to understand fully the topic in hand. So if you look, for example, at the one here, at the one in the top left-hand corner here for A Christmas Carol, this obviously doesn't teach students everything they would need to know about A Christmas Carol, but it gives them a very, very solid foundation of knowledge to be able to access the rest of the topic. And the same goes for all of the ones pictured here. So our team here at King Arthur's have been working incredibly hard to make sure that really high quality knowledge organisers with the absolute key fundamental information that students need are published to students now, and that all our home learning will be based upon those and making sure students have that fundamental knowledge. What we also know then is that sometimes that can be a little bit overwhelming. So there's quite a lot of information on a page. So home learning tasks will be broken down into short sections of the knowledge organiser that we'd like students to try to commit to memory. And what they also have is this step-by-step guide, which tells them different ways to go about using their knowledge organiser. So they might do some kind of look, write, cover, check method. And then test themselves to see what they're able to remember. They might make flashcards and try to use those to quiz themselves and then be able to see what they are able to remember. They might prepare themselves short quizzes. There are various different ways to go about using that knowledge organiser to try to make that knowledge stick, if you like, in your brain. Just reading the knowledge organiser isn't going to work. They are going to have to connect with it and engage with it and do something with it. And what we know from research is that one of the most effective ways of being able to test our knowledge is to create quizzes and to self or pair quiz each other. That's why the home learning this year is based around students using the information in the knowledge organiser to create themselves a short quiz, create the answers that go with that quiz because the knowledge is there in the organiser. They don't have to go away and find it, the knowledge is there, and then use that regularly to be able to check their understanding. Have they been able to remember the answers to the quiz? Can they still remember that 2 weeks later? Can they still remember that 3 months later? And what effectively they are doing as they do this is to create themselves a book full of revision resources. So it looks like this in the students' books. I'm sure by now you will have seen this. They are writing their quiz and then writing the answers underneath. That's so that they can cover those answers up and somebody else can ask them the questions, or they can ask themselves the questions and then slowly reveal the answers to see how they're doing. It's really important that they aren't able to see the answers at the same time as take the quiz. For maths, we recognise that Sparks has been very, very effective and very useful. So students will continue to use Sparks for their home learning in maths, and so they will log their bookwork codes into the home learning page. And as your children, I'm sure, will have told you, we are checking at roll call that home learning has been completed, and so we are easily able to see that the work has been done. As I said then, what we're aiming for here is that all students will have at their fingertips a range of quizzes that help them to revise for any upcoming assessment, any end of year exam. At Key Stage 4, obviously, their final exams and their mock exams and things that are coming up. I've lost count of how many students create themselves something like flashcards and then don't look after them, don't keep hold of them, and they get lost, and that valuable revision tool is lost. The aim of this home learning book is that all of that will be at their fingertips and they will be used to understanding how to go about revising, ready for those assessments and exams. The other thing that we have taken lots of feedback on from parents is about clarity around when to expect home learning and when it should be due in. So this year you will see that we have created a home learning timetable so that it's crystal clear for everybody exactly what is due and when. This has been really successful so far. We've obviously only been back for a couple of weeks, but so far it seems to be very, very clear to students exactly what needs to be completed and when. We have also recognised that Key Stage 4 will need, obviously, additional tasks to those quizzes. The quizzes are really important. It's a good revision tool. It's based on fundamental knowledge. However, they will obviously still need to practice some of those longer questions, exam tactics, all of those sorts of things, and produce extended pieces of writing. So there will be, for Key Stage 4 students, so years 10 and 11, there will be times where they are asked to produce something more developed than will go in the book, and they may need to complete that on paper or online. We recognise that muddies the waters slightly. However, all information is on Google Classroom, so you can always ask to see your child's classroom to get any information about that, and checking that they've done the work in their booklet, in their home learning book, is the first port of call as a parent for you to feel confident that they're on top of their home learning. The other thing I've asked all staff to do this year is to make sure that the Google Classroom is really, really clear for students exactly what is home learning, what is just materials that they might want to use, and all of those things. So everybody's classroom will be set up as depicted in this slide. So at the very top of the screen, in any of their classrooms, they will see a section that says knowledge organisers, and that will have all of the knowledge organisers, and it will clearly say when the knowledge organiser is related to. So here in the example, we've got the Year 7 one for Autumn 1, and there's one knowledge organiser labelled 1.0, so that will be the first one they use. When they come on in a few weeks' time to need the next knowledge organiser, then they would move to 1.1, and that will be very explicit about which knowledge organiser they should be using in the home learning set. Home learning then will be the next section of their classroom, clearly labelled with the due date. Now these are set as assignments, and the difference in Google Classroom between an assignment and materials is that it will appear on the child's to-do list if it's set as an assignment. Materials are something they will need to go and find, go and look for in the classroom, and they will be able to navigate their way through. If all home learning, however, does come up separately on the student's to-do list and will show on the parent portal that you can see that they need to complete a piece of home learning. Obviously, that's because we want to make sure all students are doing their home learning and doing it by the deadline. We don't necessarily want to set lesson materials as assignments that appear on the to-do list, because obviously these are things that the students might want to go back to and look at, or perhaps access if they were absent, but not every single student is going to need to revisit those lessons. The third section on here, though, is for lessons, and every single lesson that is taught in the school will be within the students' classrooms. That is so that if students are ill and away from school, not able to come to school, but perhaps actually could do a bit of work from home, that they're not so unwell that they are unable to do anything, but are just not actually fit enough to come to school, that they can access those lessons and do some work from home. It also means that students can revisit things if there was a part of the lesson that they were less confident on, and it means that students can access if they have to work from somewhere different, such as the SEND base or something like that. Hopefully then, this should mean that as parents, if you ask your student to open the classroom, then you are easily able to see what's home learning, which knowledge organiser they need, any lessons that they might need to access, so that you can be really clear, and students as well. So the other thing that parents always ask of me about home learning is what should they be doing, and sometimes that causes quite a lot of anxiety for parents, particularly if they think they need to help with maths homework but they're not very good at maths, or they need to help with English homework and they're not that great at it themselves, or they feel like they haven't got the knowledge they might need. One of the things about these knowledge organisers is that all of the information children need is there at their fingertips. So you don't need to be an expert in any way at all. Really, your role as the parent is to just remain aware of those expectations and talk to your child about it, discuss it, check on the portal perhaps if you think that perhaps they aren't completing these, or ask to see that home learning book. That's a really good port of call. We have put a parent sign off on the bottom, and that's really good practice. We're not going to insist on that from parents, as we recognise family life can be really hectic. However, if you want to put a comment in there, that's absolutely fine. Providing the right resources for children then, and a quiet space for them to work in, that is absolutely something that we'd ask of you, to make sure that they are able to complete their home learning. And if there are any issues, such as internet access is down currently, or whatever that might, or anything else that might be, please just do let us know and communicate. Students are able to communicate directly with their teacher through the classroom. They can send them a message. So if they don't understand something, or they can't find the knowledge organiser for some reason, or they have, as I say, the internet has crashed all weekend and they haven't been able to do it or something, then that is, they just need to communicate that, and obviously you can do so as well. And please do ensure that your child comes to Home Learning Club if that's something they need to do. We have our Home Learning Club on a Monday to Thursday, and that is staffed, also has access to internet and all of the resources they would need. So if there's any problems at all, or actually if students just prefer to do their work in school and keep home and school separate, then for lots of students actually attending the Home Learning Club is a better way for them to go about doing that. It just makes them feel more like it's something to do with school, and that their home life is sort of sacred, if you like. The other thing that we have changed, I should have mentioned, is the way that it's set is that students will always have at least a week to complete their home learning. So again, this is to make sure that students can manage their time effectively, and also to make sure that they are used to working on pieces of work, not to cram it in just before the deadline. So for a lot of students, they would see a due date for the home learning and think, well, that's when I've got to do that piece of work the night before. We know that that's not an effective revision method, and so what we're trying to encourage is that students actually try to look at their time over the week and complete pieces, even though they might not have science tomorrow. If that's the due date is tomorrow, then they want to be able to make sure that they've done the piece of work, even though their science lesson might not be until 2 days later or what have you. So this is about clarity for students, of making sure they have plenty of time to do the piece of work, but also driving home that message that we don't leave things right up until we're going to need it for the lesson. Actually, we want to make sure that we're learning consistently over time. Key takeaways from that parent forum then really were that please understand that all information and resources, the knowledge organisers, the instructions, all of those things are in the Google Classroom. If you aren't sure about anything, then please just ask them to show you their classroom, and you should be able to see what it is that they need to complete. In the home learning booklet is we've printed off the home learning timetable so that you can be clear what's due when. And that is a quick, easy, simple way for you to say to your child, can I see your home learning? Have you done your home learning for this week? And you can easily see what they have and haven't completed. Lots of students are finding that because everything is there for them, they are wanting to work ahead and get their home learnings done for the whole week, perhaps over the weekend, and leave their evenings free. That's another beauty of this policy, is that they can manage their time in that way if they choose to. The other key takeaway here is home learning is compulsory. It is compulsory because it makes such a difference to students, and it allows them to understand how to work effectively over time to get them ready for their final exams. So even our students in Year 7 should be now trying to form the right habits of doing that extra bit when we get home to consolidate what we've understood in class, to make sure that we're ready for our learning. It's absolutely working on those fundamental, crucial bits of information that students have to have in order to be successful. And so it's really important that they do complete the home learning. Home Learning Club then, just to remind you, is Monday to Thursday after school for any students who need help or need resources or need access to computers and things like that. So please do encourage them to come to that if that's going to help. So I hope you found this useful. If you do have any further questions, please just contact the school reception or email myself, kim.mason@kingarthurs.org.uk. I'm more than happy to take any questions and queries. It would also be lovely to see you at our next parent forum coming up this Thursday on the 21st of September at 5 p.m. That one is a practical session on IT and how to use the Google Classroom, how to use the parent portal. You will need to bring your child with you because they will need to log into our computers to show you how to get to various things. I will be there to hands-on show you around the classroom, show you around the portal, anything that you might need some help with. So it would be fabulous to see lots of you there. Please do sign up to that so we know roughly how many people to expect, so that we can plan for the session. So watch your inboxes for the invitation to that one. The other half of the session is all about attendance and reporting attendance and the importance of attendance. So it would be fantastic to see lots of you there. Thank you very much.